Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. Welcome if you're currently here in this live video premiere. As we do go along, you can share your thoughts, opinions and reactions, okay? We're going to be doing two things today. We're going to be doing a map analysis, but also, first of all, we're actually taking a look at a technical update by Candice Cooley, because she has posted once again on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page. What could it be about? Is it breaking news? Is it a slight update? Is it new leads? What could it be? Well, we will find out very shortly as I read it to you, maybe try and break it down, analyze it, check the comment section out just in case she's added additional responses there, and just get to the bottom of it. As you know, past few weeks it has been pretty quiet. There's numerous reasons. One, there's not much else going on. Two, there's less YouTubers covering the case. Three, Thanksgiving, the actual family members rounds, Cooley family members doing their thing and stuff. And 4, 5, like the weather, winter, right? So that's explainable there. If you want to check out my previous video, make sure to do so. There'll be a link down below in the comment section or on the information part where it pops up in the corner of the screen, okay? What else have I noticed? So Lance has uploaded another video of the Bald Eagle mountain range. It was uploaded today or later last night, okay? And the title of it, once again, is called Searching for Missing People. So once again, you're seeing vague titles, right? Slight change in, would you call it behavior or would you call it change in action direction, right? The actual mission to locate Dylan or Susan Powell or somebody else is still there, but the actual title of the video has changed. And I still think, and I did predict, okay, my prediction was that because of the changing of the title, it might be more to do with reducing the heat level and tension between Candice Cooley and Lance. If things have gone on behind the scene, you never know. This might have been done as a way to move forwards, right? Because yes, you still got that donation for the dog. If you don't know what number it's at now, it looks like it's at about over $6,400 out of $10,000 raised for the cadaver dog. I don't know what the time limit was. Was it a month? If so, I think that's already gone over that, but it's probably still doable. Branching out down the line, looking for multiple people with the use of a dog is practical and can be done. So even if it's not with Dylan, it can be with someone else, right? I understand that. The only other thing I noticed, which is kind of interesting, and hopefully I can retrieve it, I just want to share with you an interesting comment and response by Lance himself. Let me show you. Okay, so here it is, and it's actually on Lance's most recent video from 15 hours ago, so make sure to check out Lance's video, another search one, going inside like mine shafts, so it is interesting. And once again, as I did say, you look at the title, Searching Mountainside for Missing People. Can I get it on? Look, can you see by the titles, Searching Mountainside for Missing People, Part 2, Part 1, Found a Hidden Cavern. I think down here, yeah, you see it where it says Dylan Rounds. So it's only just recently where the name has changed in the title. It's only a small observation, but you know, it does make you think, doesn't it? I wonder if I should do a poll. Let's just do a random poll right now. Do you think Lance's changing of the title of the video was primarily done to reduce the heat level with Candice Cooley, so Dylan Round's name isn't always associated with Lance? Or do you think it was just a natural decision whilst taking in mind looking for more than one missing person out there? Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to vote right now. Because really, when Lance showed up, it was primarily to do with searching for Dylan. And I guess it looks like it's branching out more now, despite parting ways with Ty Corbin still at this moment in time. Then, as I said, it was the comments section, okay? And it's this one here by Paula Ray, okay? So they said, Lance, I think you should search the Bold Eagle Mountain again, where Natal search on north side. Okay, so north side. Can you get that? I had a feeling when he went down the ladder, I see something, but it just might be seeing something he under the dirt. I know it be almost impossible to look, and they said they smell something too. Just saying, thank you for all you do, Lance. Much love. Okay, so first of all, Joy Perry, come here right now. I don't care if it's text to speech or speech to text. You need to give this person some fucking language course, okay, man? We're not even talking about advanced, we're just talking about basic, man. Anyway, aside from that, it's interesting what this person has said. So in regards to Nuttall's search video, it's his latest one on his channel, right? The thumbnail looks kind of dark. You see someone descending in. It's where Nuttall is with Les Nuttall and Alan from Mountain Labs Fortress, if that's what you call it. You remember? Yeah? Scott Nuttall's latest video. Make sure to check it out. Now, I've only seen a bit of it, okay? And a brief backstory. As they're descending down, there is a ladder. It gets to a certain point where they're able to get off it, and then it goes down some, like, passageway. But then, you know, still in place, when you look down, it goes a bit deeper, and there's another ladder which keeps on going. But then there's another ladder which has broken off, and the question was, well, where did that ladder come from? Because there's no broken ladders above and not really down below, so why is it there? So that was the first strange thing, I guess. Now, as for what's mentioned here, I mean, I did briefly scroll down the comment section of Scott Nuttall's video and didn't find anything like timestamps, as you would with the Kenny Veach case. You know, the Kenny Veach case, there was a lot of observant people, right? As soon as you go on, even if it was on Kenny's video or a searcher's, you go to the comment section, timestamp at that number. Oh, did you see that thing moving in the sky? Timestamp at this number. Oh, did you see that thing peeking out from behind the bush? You know, that's the level of detail. But I've not seen it within the Dylan Rounds case. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So let me know if you saw anything strange, anything out of the ordinary, similar to what Paula saw in the video, okay? Let me know down below, because if something odd has been found in there, right, but it's still a bit of a mystery, people come up with theories, ideas, make sure to list it, because we might need to take a closer look at it, okay? So yeah, talking about there's a smell down there. I don't know. Has Indiana visited recently? Maybe she left a gift. I don't know. But, you know, if there was a smell, would that be realistic, though, associated with Dylan? Because how long does it take for a body to decompose, right? How long? It's been several months now, so I don't think it would smell anymore, right? As for the bag of bones which Lance and Ty found by the side of the road, like on the edge, under a bush, those bones, I don't know how fresh they were, but they still had a bit of flesh or rotted flesh on them, and there was a smell coming off. So I don't know if you want to use that as a comparison in terms of relevancy of when something was chucked out there compared to a later time period. You know what I'm saying? So, Yeah, leave your thoughts down below about this comment. It's the response though that's interesting. Lance says, I had already went down that one before they did and fully checked it. Thus meaning Lance did not find anything whatsoever in this spot where Scott Natal went. Ty keeps taking them to mines I've already checked. Now this is very interesting because what you're seeing now is a breakdown in communication. Previously, you had Lance and Ty both going out, coordinating with the walkie-talkies and other safety, procedures, and going about from location to location, right? They were in sync with one another. But due to disagreements with time and splitting different ways, what you're seeing now is repetitive cycles of visiting places which have already been checked off the list, which is time consuming and arguably a waste of time. I do understand that there's no harm in doing, a second check just to make sure nothing's been missed. But ultimately, if you have thoroughly searched, right, and found nothing, then there's no real need to go back unless you're returning back with upgraded equipment, better resources which could dig into the ground, scan the area, test the soil, the dirt, then it would be worthwhile. Now, how should I word it? In comparison to, coherent synchronicity, with the Kenny Veach case, it was a lot more locked in, right? And the reason why I say that is because you had coordinates left, right, centre, all over the place. Coordinates to the supposed covered M cave, coordinates to the mine shaft, right? And you can get them from Google Earth if you know where to look. And if not, the hikers provided them, such as Jeff Clark, such as Sean Horlacher, right? It was very helpful and useful. And as well, documenting the visits, using certain titles, communicating with one another, so people know where to look and where not to look. And this is any similarity. People did go back to the same spot, right? Kind of similar to this Scott Natal and Lance situation. But the actual people returning back or going there where other people have been, they were already aware of that. Now, I don't know if Scott Natal was aware that someone like Lance has gone into that mine shaft Scott Natal went in recently. Ty Corbin will obviously know, but the real question is, why is Ty Corbin leading people into places that have already been searched? What's the purpose of that? Is it more of a guided tour to say, hey, look, this is where we've been searching recently? Or is it because he feels like it needs a second check? Is it to drag out time, waste time? What do you think, right? I'll do another brief poll. Do you think the communication between differing hikers, volunteers looking for Dylan in different locations, do you think there is a high level of communication? Yes? No? Do you think it's fragmented? Because I'm using it as a measure, comparing it to the Kenny Veach case, in which, although you didn't have locals, not that many, right? Okay, Sean Horlacher, technically, but the rest, well, actually, SB Vega's Adventure, he's a local, I believe. But then others, like Scott Natal, because he moves about, Jeff Clark to an extent, I think, Mystery Hikes, Aquachigger possibly, etc., etc. People come and visit, just like how they might come and visit Area 51. And you've got all these online strangers communicating with one another, not even face-to-face, but actually cooperating, helping one another out. You had Jay Silverheels. At one point, He was running up those hills like a wild donkey, and then after an injury, he still cooperated with Jay Chuck and the maps, saying you need to go up this ravine, you need to go here, go there, check this out, check that out, planning out routes. Just like how I planned out hike routes, or more to do with reenacting hike routes, such as Scott Natal's, and he acknowledged them as well as pretty accurate and well done. So, yeah, I do think that within the Kenny Veach case, there was more coordination with a much bigger, ever-expanding mystery on the case compared to the Dylan Rounds one, which is kind of all over the place, okay? But it's one of these things here where Earthworm Entertainment, Lance, can only do so much. You know, he's doing his own thing right now. He might not have the time, or he might not have been informed that someone like Scott Natal was going to a place he's already explored. This is a question I put across. Whilst all these locations might have been checked, ticked off with time, did anyone leave coordinates, some kind of GPS, some kind of marker, beacon, a ribbon, a piece of paper, a piece of tape, anything to say, we've been here, you don't need to go in? You know what I'm saying? Has that actually happened before or not? Because it's all right for an individual or group to go around and say, right, we've looked in everyone, we've not found anything, case closed, let's move on to somewhere else. But then if you've got a new wave of people coming in who don't know about all these ticked off locations, they're just going to be going round and round in circles, not looking at new stuff, but looking at old news, right? So there needs to be some kind of acknowledgement, marker, checkpoint, public checkpoint. Now, I don't think it's possible. But what would have been good if someone did a Google Earth Pro project in which they dropped coordinates, pinpoints of every single location they've searched and completed. And then you could do some kind of grid square reference to say, you know, G1 has been solved. G2 needs to be looked at next. You know, you could get very in-depth. I know Candice Cooley said she's been doing her own map projects and breakdown and analysis when it came to the search in recent time. I don't know to what depth or extent, but yeah, Google Earth can definitely be helpful. And if anyone doesn't know, as for the map analysis videos you see, for most part of it, I do use Google Earth, and I use the mobile version, as just about nearly every single video I record on my channel, aside from gaming, has been recorded, edited, and uploaded from my mobile. Every single mystery video, from what I can think of, has been recorded on mobile. So it is interesting the lengths you can go to when it comes to being creative and editing stuff and it performing as well. You know, not struggling. You know, you don't need a fucking Alienware PC, man. Not quite. So, with that all in mind, I can understand why with the split between Ty and Lance that you're getting breakdowns in communication as seen on screen here. And it's a fact that Lance isn't saying Ty's done it as a one-off. It's happened multiple times. Ty keeps taking them to mines already checked. Keeps doing it. So it's repetitive. So has Lance actually told Ty, hey, you need to stop. You know, there's no point taking him here or there because we've already looked. Take him somewhere different. Do you know what I'm saying? Is Ty Corbin present? What are your thoughts on this? You know, has there been a resolve with Lance? Is it still ongoing? Is there a reason, Ty, why you're taking people to places that have already been searched? Is it because there might be something else there which other people have not found? Just want to know your thoughts. Okay, so that's the first part out of the way. First bit of, I guess, news. The next part is obviously what Candice Cooley has had to say very recently. Let's head on over now and see what it's all about. Right, here we are on the Find Dylan Rounds Facebook page. I don't know if you've observed it yourself previously with patterns, but on all these posts it says commenting has been turned off. And that's for a lot of them. And as you know, you look at the comments, people have commented. And, you can. But as soon as it's turned off, no one else can leave a comment. Now, why's that happened with all the posts? Is it a time limited thing? There's a time frame in where you can participate, or has some kind of drama gone on to cause this to be disabled? I don't know. You see it on YouTube. People disabled comments. Jim Terry has done it himself, which I don't quite understand. Let's just briefly talk about that. Okay, so Salty Pancakes, Jim Terry have set videos to membership only, either as a form of making more money successfully or just as a form of, preventing all of the negative people from coming in and then, avoiding negative attacks. So maybe that's the case. But if you think about it, the comment section, so let's say on Jim Terry's channel, when Jim Terry does his live call-ins and his live streams, he welcomes anyone to talk trash, both on call and in the live chat. But why not the comment section? Is it not the same thing, right? Or is it because it's not live? I want to know your thoughts on that, because if it's all about anything goes, then the comment section should be open as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the more important stuff. As you see here, newest activity 11 hours ago. Official. Candice Cooley. Okay? Let's begin reading it. I just had to expand the text as there is quite a bit. This is probably one of the longer posts by Candice Cooley. We'll read through it and break it down bit by bit from here. So Candice Cooley has said, as always, Justin Rounds, myself and Dylan's entire family want to thank you for your continued support. We are pushing and fighting daily to bring Dylan home. We will never tire or give up the fight. There are some things moving forwards in Dylan's case that cannot be released at this time, but be assured there is stuff happening. Okay, so once again, we're seeing that form of language. There's stuff going on behind the scenes in the right direction. At what point do we find out about it? Maybe, you remember that time scale what I was talking about? Oh my God, the predictions. I've just predicted it once again. Just like all the others. Literally, 2 to 3 videos ago, make sure to check that video out, where I did that long list of questions and answers saying, I do feel that before Christmas there will be at least one form of update by Candice Cooley about the Dylan Rounds case, and it'll probably originate on the Facebook page first and then follow on over either on the East Idaho News channel as a summary of all the previous points and the latest one, or on Doug's channel. And I think we've seen part of this already play through. So once again, I've predicted it. Wow. Yeah, because this is recent. Okay. Now, in terms of the language, there's stuff going on behind the scenes. We have heard that several times in the past, like on the East Idaho News channel, and with time, we started hearing about it at a later point. So there is a chance that whatever is going on here, whatever Candice Cooley is talking about, that's partially why things have been very quiet recently, but also it might lead to an eventual explanation or some kind of one, right? I mean, there is a chance that maybe because the LE are holding back, let's just say, maybe Candice Cooley doesn't feel as inclined to rush out information and to spread it about, because one of the stronger motives for doing so in the past, like with the key fob, like with the gun being returned back, although we heard about it at a much later point in time, she revealed it because she had enough of the LE and how they were handling things. So she took matters into her own hands. Now, if the LE were being competent, then maybe Candice Cooley wouldn't have shared anything or done it at a much later point, many months on from there. So there's a possibility that you could see things slowing down possibly in terms of when information is revealed, because there might not be as much messing around now because Candice Cooley has more power. That's just one way of interpreting it, but it looks like there's a positive. Now, in terms of Candice Cooley thanking everyone for support, I assume it's more to do with everybody on this page, right, in this group chat, whatever you call it, community, and not externally. And you could be like, so what, does it matter? Or no, it means everyone. It's just because we need to get things clear and straight each time so we can monitor Candice Cooley's behaviour, whether it changes or not, whether it goes positive, negative. You know what I'm saying? There's no harm in doing that. And obviously, with some heated arguments or tension going on with different people within the case at points, it's like, are there any like little references here, any little digs at anyone? But no, at the moment, this post seems to be positive. The bit about trying daily to bring Dylan home, it makes sense. 1, to get justice. 2, to find their son, obviously, bring closure, and also get justice and, sort Brenner out, because it's pending that. Brenner's just casually roaming around in Weber County Jail, right? Just a very quick question. I think it was Tom Evans that answered this. Tom Evans said Chase Venstra is in a different jail, Box Elder County Jail. Is that what you call it? The only question I put forwards is, why is Chase Venstra there and Jim Brenner's at Weber County Jail? Is it because both are to do with gun charges, right? But why are they separated? Is it because there's a conflict within the case? They don't want those two people merging together. It wouldn't be right. Is that it? Or is it to do with other reasons, different laws, a slightly different case? What do you think? Down below. List it if you know. Okay. Anything else here? Things are moving forward. Yeah. There is stuff happening. So, once again, she's keeping quiet. She's been very vague. So it must be something of importance, because if you look back at one of the previous posts, and I don't know when that was now, but Candice Cooley said, if there is anything that can be revealed publicly, we will do so. And I actually said it then. I said it back then. And I think that might have been a couple of weeks ago, saying how the way this is worded, it's as if they have found stuff, but none of it is publicly viewable, right? Because it must be important, kind of delicate. They don't want to mess things up, so they're keeping it quiet. And this reinforces it. So boom, prediction, boom, locked on, okay? So let's continue reading. So Candice Cooley then goes on to say, we receive daily messages about Dylan's phone, his pickup truck, GPS location, Google Earth, satellites, and much more. We know people want to help and understand the frustration, but please, before you send us these questions personally, watch the interviews in the featured tab when you join the group. We answer all of these in the interviews. Well, not quite, because recently I've come up with my own questions, as people have seen, and as time goes on, people can spread those questions publicly, spread the message, get some noise going, and then maybe with traction some of those questions can be answered, because there will always be questions in an open-ended case which has not been solved. Even the cold cases of other missing people, there'll always be questions, whether they're realistic or not, ambiguous, locked on sharp, whatever. People will always question, right? And there's no harm in that. As for messaging Candice, I wonder how people did that. I assume it's I think this is more aimed and directed towards members on the page, because Candice does say, make sure to check the tab out where we've done the interviews and everything. So it must be aimed towards people that are new to the group, that have joined in, may have watched a couple of my videos or somebody else's, reached out to Candice saying, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And Candice is just guiding people in the right direction, I assume. Now, Dylan's phone, I understand that. Most of us understand that in terms of the phone pings. We've seen that extensively. The pickup truck, yeah, we've heard differing stories. The pickup truck was probably one of the deepest theory-based analysis focused part within the whole case of Dylan Rounds. Do you agree? I'll do a poll now. Do you agree that Dylan's pickup truck has been one of the centre points when it comes to the investigation and theories, ideas generated? I would have to say definitely. Whether it be just the photos, looking at them at the beginning, oh, it's damaged the truck. Was that caused by Dylan? Did Dylan do it? Did the suspect do it? Did they run Dylan over? That was cleared up and resolved in the end. It was just reversing or driving into a pole way back in the past. You saw the photos of the pressure washer, the hose wrapped around the wheel, potential footprints around the ground. Arguably the trailer, if you want to associate it with the same location, right? The actual descriptions of the truck, the data being lost originally, the seat being adjusted, all-wheel drive being turned on, the door being locked, the gun missing from where it normally is stored inside the truck, and then down the line, that 65 rough estimated distance of the truck covered. The journey from Friday to Saturday, estimated by Candice Cooley of Dylan's truck. So there's been a lot going on with that, although it's not like the piece of evidence which was used to probably kill Dylan, nor was it the location or environment being inside the truck where Dylan was taken out by someone, but it's definitely played a role in different ideas and obviously probably using it to dispose of them. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind that. I'll just scroll down so I don't get lost. Okay. GPS location, coordinates, I assume, that could be very vague. It could be to do with a wash, the grain shed, somewhere else. You don't really see too much GPS coordinate-based stats, figures, numbers, comments. I hardly see coordinates within the Dylan Rounds case. Whether it be the title, the description, don't really see anyone giving them off. I saw 2 people out of nearly 4 months, if not over 4 months of covering the Dylan Rounds case. I've only seen 2 people leave comments about coordinates. You see what I'm saying? The Google Earth satellite imagery, yeah, we know about that. Okay. Let's continue reading. Candice Cooley also says, I also want to personally thank all of you. You have sent me stuff in honour of Dylan. I have received everything from sunflower jewellery to picture frames, blankets, and so much more. Too much to list. Note the boot on the right-hand side, that is Dylan's from when he was 11. He loved that particular boot. He wore them from the time he was 5 until he was past his teens. They were a challenge to find at times. These items have a special place in my heart and my home. Okay. So what you're seeing is, whilst it's to do with raising awareness for Dylan, his legacy, whilst whether it be Candice Cooley or Jazz Grolson, creating gifts, distributing packages and the seeds, things have been given back as well by the general public, which I guess is a positive thing, which has led to, do you call it some kind of memorial or some kind of shrine of Dylan? There is a picture down below, which we'll take a look at in a second. The interesting bit where it said about the boot on the right-hand side, we'll try and look out for that. It's a good thing, though, that Candice Cooley dated back the relevancy of it, because if she didn't and someone saw the photo of the boot, they probably would have thought, wait, what's that boot doing there? Is that Dylan's? Is that the recent boot? Where's the other one? Was it stolen? Was it some kind of inside job? Do you see how the mind can go off on one. So it's a good thing that's been cleared up. Anything else? She says, I also want to thank all of you that have helped with sending awareness items. It is truly amazing and has restored my faith in humankind in such an awful situation. Please continue to share Dylan's story however you can and help us bring him home. Power in numbers, right? So basically, a positive has come out of a negative event. The reality is, though, the dark reality, that happens far too often. And the only reason why that person's got friends is because they're on the verge of jumping off a bridge and now they've received support and now they've suddenly got friends. Not exactly a great deal. And you had to go to such extremes of almost dying just to get something positive to happen. No, that's not natural, that. Just like how if you had a school shooter treated very badly, reacted in a bad way too, took it out on others, took it out on themselves as well. And what was the positive out of it? Oh, there was some awareness campaign for bullying. Oh, it helped many other people. Yeah, but at what cost? Previous negative events. So it's just one of those dark realities of what will always happen. People only care when it's too late, right? As for the Dylan Rounds case, the way people have supported, I guess on this page, right? The petitions, the posters, sending letters and emails to Boxelder County or the state of Utah, okay, has been, I guess, helpful. And as Kenny said, in numbers, and I think there's like over 15,000 members. Though I have heard from what some people have said, because some people who watch my videos are members on this page, and they said that there's quite a few dumb people on here. So that's interesting. I don't know what the average IQ is on a page like this. I guess it's more just to do with like what Candice Cooley has highlighting stuff, questioning things, pointing out this, pointing out that without actually looking at the updates or recent info. That might be what they mean by dumb behaviour. But there you go. Now let's take a look at the photo. Okay, what do we have here? Hopefully you can see it on the screen and it doesn't spaz out. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it could partially some of this be to do with Thanksgiving, like that wreath, possibly, like Christmas related, for Dylan. You got the sunflowers, that reference, I guess, to do with farming. You got flowers as well, which I assume are real ones, or they could be dried flowers, or fake ones, so they'll last forever. What else have you got down here? You got a Lego box of sunflowers. That's different, that's unique. I can't imagine constructing it, but I can imagine it being very fiddly pieces of Lego. Is that Santa? It's like a gnome. Oh, it might be more like a Santa gnome with a bobble hat on, and you see its bushy beard and the little nose. Beep. Okay. Got some older photos here of Dylan. Now, I do remember, I think it was Christy, I think it might have been someone else as well, saying that they want a chronological order of photos of Dylan from start to finish. It's one of those things where it might be kind of possible, but it's actually trying to get a hold of the photos to begin with. You know, we have seen a couple of them. I've seen at least 3 or 4 different ones, but it's like trying to retrace them, refine them, and then try and guess and figure out the actual date and time they were taken, because when they were uploaded is different to when they were taken. You know what I'm saying? And obviously these much younger ones, I guess, are obvious, way back then. But as for the recent photos, I don't think there was too many back-to-back ones. Maybe like 2 at best, I would say. But yeah, just like collection of stuff. There's album photo of different ones. I don't know what the photos are of. I can't quite make it out. Some look like they're of Dylan, others a group of people together. Got some cans there. Maybe it's Dylan's favourite drink. Then you've got the main photo of Dylan, which we've always seen and what most people have used for videos, right? And then on the far right side of this cabinet, if you want to call it that, there's the boot, right? Bear in mind, it does look more like a cowboy boot rather than a builder's boot or a farmer's boot maybe. But yeah, as Candice Cooley said, that boot was when Dylan was much younger. Okay, so it's not his recent boot. Now, speaking of the boot, okay, that's been another focus point within the case. The question I have, and feel free to answer it. Has anyone, I'll do it as a poll as well at the same time. Has anyone seen a photo, a picture of Dylan's boots at the crime scene near the grain shed at the dirt mound? Has anyone seen a photo of the boots? Yes or no? And if you vote yes, feel free to leave a comment down below in the live chat or in the comment section after this video and let us know, where did you see the photos? Are they on the web? Were they provided by a certain individual within the case or a certain YouTube channel? Do you have a link to them? Feel free to share, because there's no harm, right? Yeah, I mean, as for Dylan's car, some of those photos which I might have showed you, really, 1 or 2 were from the news channels, so they're somewhat accessible to get a hold of. Which tried to find the video in the first place relevant to the vehicle. And then the odd other photo, that was more to do with Tyler Feller, when Tyler Feller analysed the truck, right? Because you notice when you get these people doing the live streams, whether it be a Zav Girl, Tyler Feller, someone else, they've got their own like little library of photos and files, wherever they got those from, in a slideshow format. The photos I get a hold of, it's literally from online, a screenshot, saved a photo, like that. It's a bit more basic, you know what I'm saying? So you might not have all the material at once. Just wanted to let you know that. But yeah, there's the boot from the past, right? If you have any other questions about the boots, feel free to list it down below, I guess. Is it possible to check the comments out? Yes, but I think there could be quite a few, so we'll just run on through them. If there's any interesting comments or long ones, we will read. Most of this is to do with support. Okay, oh look, here's one. Sunflower, yeah. Candice replies, I'll put them together with super glue when we bring him home and they will forever be. Okay. It makes sense using super glue because obviously Lego can be a little bit fiddly at times and break. Now, just want to mention this very quickly. I know some people with time have said Candice Cooley never talks about or words it in her post or interviews saying, where is Dylan at? Or we need to, I think we need to find him has been said, but where is he at? Right? That's like what people have said. Whereas when you read this, Candice Cooley is saying, when we bring him home, it seems more confident, that language now. So maybe something has happened. And you could argue that things are on hold, frozen, no pun intended, because of the weather. Miss W, shout out to her for recently being present in my live video premiere, as she was saying things need to, get moving. I think my response at the time was, well, yeah, true. But I guess with the weather, while things are on halt, if any responses, any locations are revealed, whether it be by Brenner confessing or a new lead elsewhere externally, then you just remember, you note down that location and go back to it when you can, when the weather has opened up, the ground is no longer hard and you can begin searching, right? So there seems to be a bit more confidence in that response. Yeah, more prayers. Apologies if I go quiet, I'm just glancing over these comments, right? What's this? Thank you for the update. Yeah. Gosh, this is one of the best posts I've seen in days. I followed since all began. Big prayers, yeah. Oh yeah, Cynthia. Not this Cynthia, but do you know like how people just pop up here and there? Like one other YouTuber that's gone quiet, and I can't remember how you say her last name. You remember that other YouTuber called Cynthia with a C? Do you remember? I think she wore glasses at times and she had like black, smooth hair. Do you remember her? She partially covered the Dylan Rounds case and presented certain coverage on it, and I think some documents as well. Was she called Cynthia Ronda? Is it Cynthia Rwanda? Cynthia Ronda? Something like that. Cynthia, and then her surname began with an R, or her YouTube username, second word began with an R. Let me know if you know, because she's gone quiet as well, like with the Shack Lady, etc. Right? There'll be probably reasons for that, of course, but no harm in questioning. Okay. What's this one? Oh. I'd like to buy a pair of boots just like the kind Dylan wore. Okay. Georgia boots, slip-on kind. Right, slip-on. Right, okay. Now this thing, very quickly. I know people were saying about Dylan Rounds boots being a slip-on. They could have slipped off during a fight between him and someone like Brenner. Now, when it comes to slip-on shoes, they slip on, but they don't fall off that easily, right? I don't have boots, but technically I have slip-on trainers, and they stay on, right? The only way they would fall off is if you grabbed hold of the shoe and pulled it off, right? So is that what people are agreeing? That's how Dylan's boots came off, yeah? And the only thing I would say then, that's a bit weird, is why would you take boots off someone? Why? Just like, why? You know, if you're going to take the person's boots, is it because you want to wear them yourself? That's what you could think of. Just like if you were getting robbed in the middle of the street. You get robbed because you're wearing a nice pair of trainers. They're expensive. They're rare. And then that typical gang situation in the US where they take your trainers and then you got to walk home in your socks. You know, that's like a typical American situation from like what I've seen in videos and stuff. Okay? But it doesn't seem to be the case here, right? If you were going to take, what's another alternative? We'll combine it with bloody Hitman. Hitman Absolution, Hitman 3, Hitman 4. You know, you take off a certain clothing, but you take off the rest as well to wear to blend in and appear as somebody else. Brenner did not do that. I assume Dylan was fully clothed, right? Do you see what I'm saying? If you're taking the boots off Dylan, then why are you taking off all the other clothes, the top, the jacket, the trousers, the pants, or are they staying on? If they stay on Dylan's clothes, then why does his boots need to come off, though? That's what I just don't really understand. And I just can't imagine Brenner and Dylan rolling about in the dirt. And I don't mean that in a dodgy way. I'm just meaning like if Brenner tackled Dylan to the ground or, you know, something like that where it gets very physical, because Brenner doesn't look like the type of guy to get very physical, without an object. You get what I'm saying? An upper hand, right? Okay, when Brenner took out in 2021 Bivens and hurt him, that was with a lawn chair to begin with, and then proceeded to kick him whilst the guy was on the ground, but Brenner was stood up. So when it comes to Dylan, do you think Brenner got into a scuffle on the ground, or was Brenner doing like a cheap shot and then stood over him and then hurt him in that way? I just can't imagine Brenner rolling around. You know, Brenner looks like a turtle. You know, once you fall over, you can't get back up and your legs are in the air. That's just how I imagine it, okay? If you got a different opinion, leave it. Oh my God, Lisa, what have you done here with this long response? Okay, let's read it out. Lisa says, before I go to bed at night, I asked, is this a prayer instead? If I wake up during the first thing I think about is Candice and Justin and wonder if they are laying in bed unable to sleep because Dylan is missing, and I ask the Lord again to please help bring Dylan home so his parents and family can rest, and when I wake in the morning, I pray that today is the day that someone somewhere, somehow we'll find a piece of the puzzle that brings Dylan home. As I told the good Lord how thankful I was to have my family with me during the holiday, I couldn't help but cry because Candice and Justin didn't have Dylan with them this year. You must also remember that Candice and Justin are separate and they've got their own families, right? Got to acknowledge that. I see people post that we are family now, and I have to agree, nothing would make me happier than them being able to bring their sweet boy home. If I have learned anything from this tragedy, it's to never take 1 second with loved ones for granted, because we may not have another one. Yeah, okay, we're going very dark now, aren't we? Candice and Justin, your strength and courage inspire me every day to be a better person than I was yesterday. I'll continue to support you until the day that Dylan is brought home. No matter how long it takes, his memory will not fade, because we, his extended family, will never let this happen. I hope you can find some comfort knowing that. God, that was long. What does this person say? What's this? Candice Cooley. This is by Janine. Candice Cooley. I don't know if you're a believer or not, but did you watch Donna Serafina reading? She did some amazing work on the Tyler and JJ case. She mentioned something is under Dylan's trailer to do with the case. Well, that's kind of interesting now, because to be honest, when we look back, I do remember, I can't remember on whose channel it was, whether it was Salty Pancakes or Tyler Fellas, but people were referring back to the trailer situation, that underneath, that's where Dylan is buried. And then it passed on to the vehicle situation. You know, 1 minute people are saying, oh, Dylan's buried under the trailer because it's a least likely place where people would expect Dylan to be. And then it was to do with the truck because of the ground being very patchy and wet, and it being damp and all the dirt and sediments collected on the ground underneath the truck, so maybe there is some disturbance going on there. That's what some other people were saying. What are your thoughts? I won't do it as a poll. No, actually, no, I can do it as a poll, okay? We'll do it as more of a direct one. So, do you think that Dylan Rounds is buried in the ground somewhere on Dylan's farm? Okay, so away from the grain shed, away from the wash, at Dylan's actual farm. Do you think that's where he's buried at? Yes or no? Feel free to vote now. And also, have any of you heard of Donna Serafina and her reading? Have you ever heard of that channel? I haven't personally. Okay, I'll be honest. Let's continue reading on. Okay. Chris. Yeah. Okay, what does this one say? My heart breaks daily, looking out west from where I live here in Bucks Elder County. Interesting. I pray daily that you'll soon bring Dylan home. It's so sad to think of how cold it is and the weather settling in, which makes it so much more real that Dylan needs to be found. I ventured out and around the dirt roads only to find myself breaking down in tears, thinking what and how I would feel if this was one of my sons. My prayers go out. Yeah. Okay, you know what? This is just like another alternative point, okay? I know some people will say, oh, well, that's obvious, but let's just highlight it, okay? If Dylan was possibly still alive somewhere, and there wasn't much evidence to suggest a homicide case, okay? Okay, you following? Do you think if Dylan was held captive somewhere, and maybe he had some kind of food or liquid to survive up to a certain point, if it got to winter time, and if Dylan is held captive somewhere, do you honestly think Dylan would be able to survive the winter wherever he's at? Or do you think he would just die from the weather, hypothermia? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know it's already slanted that he's gone, right? But if he was still alive, do you think Dylan would have been able to survive the winter wherever he's held at? Or would the cold kill him? Just an alternative point I just wanted to raise, okay? Anything else? Not much there. Just prayers. Yeah. Yeah, holidays hard, true. Thank you for keeping us updated. Yeah, thoughts and prayers. Cindy, always praying for Dylan. You, Justin, and your families. Sending love. Okay, so that's it for that post. Okay, so aside from this post, what we've just looked at, you can share your thoughts. If you do have any additional questions or key points about this, make sure to list it down below in the comments section, okay? Just want to briefly scroll down just to see if there's any other missed information or updates in general. Okay, so you got these like little collages. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Bit sensitive when you tap on Facebook post. Get off. Fuck off. Okay. I'm so frustrated. I can't believe that the holidays are approaching and we still don't have answers. So many of us care. Well, it looks like there is progression made from the looks of it, the way Candice Cooley said it. What's this one? Teresa says, big news on Box Elder Facebook page this week. They've an injured animal and Sheriff Potter got a new cowboy hat. I can't even. Okay. Check the comments out, maybe. I mean, we have seen it before, and people referencing it, saying, you know, Box Elder County Sheriff's Office, their Facebook page, they were at one point more focused and obsessed about cowboy or police parades on horses with their little cowboy hats rather than looking for Dylan. You remember that? And then there's other talks about the police locating a lost bighorn sheep or something, being successful there, but not with a human. The comments, let's turn off. Chris says, oh my god, so what? That doesn't mean they're working any less on the case. So this person is supporting the LE, okay? Sharon says, I understand you're frustrated and want to let the family and community, including the police deputy, know. I just think the family needs their peace back more than anything, and perpetrating anger won't help them. I'm sure that's an internal battle for them daily as it is. Okay, that person's trying to be the peacemaker. Julianne says, I'm sure there's a good reason their comments are all turned off. Wait, is Julianne referencing comments turned off on Box Elder County Sheriff's Office page or the Find Dylan Rounds page? Because the comments are turned off here as well. And yet people are able to comment. Unless it means comments turned off for general public, maybe? I don't know how it's exactly worded. But if it's to do with Box Elder County, I can understand them turning comments off. You know, just like how Box Elder County have blocked people when people have sent private DMs asking them to look into Dylan or demanding questions. You know, it's just trying to get away from it, right? Anything else? Jamili says, not cool at all to post this. Stay focused, for shit's sakes. Sent her a polite message. And Christy, oh my god, Christy, what are you doing here, Christy? I'm sorry, it's a different person. Jazz does a wonderful job moderating comments. A little joke at the show's expense isn't such a bad thing. You snicker and regain focus. Okay. Is it going to reset the page? Nope, that's good. Good. Okay. Is there anything else to read on down here? Just in case we've missed anything, these are just like bits of artwork and prayers. Yep. The beads. Yeah. Okay, so that looks to be it. Yeah, I've seen this. That's it. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that news report, the updates regarding what Candice Cooley has had to say, these secret developments going on, it sounds positive. I don't know, like, if they can, whatever it is, can go underway, like, during winter or not, or they've got to wait afterwards. But it seems like my predictions, each one, is coming true with time. Okay. We'll see what happens next, of course. Share your thoughts down below. And yeah, and also your thoughts as well between Ty and Lance. Do you think Ty and Lance will like patch things up and start cooperating, searching with one another again, or is that done? Can Ty Corbin confirm that? Does Ty Corbin want to search with Lance anymore, or just not? You know, just like put it in the open, okay? So technically we're done, but we're not done, right? Because what about the dodgy stuff? Well, basically, as a heads up, what it appears to be is Oakley, the place called Oakley. There are several places called Oakley, which is just great by America. Great job, man. Okay. But then again, you can't complain because in the UK, you got a place called New York. Really? Yeah. But then you got a place in the UK called Twat. So just gets better, right? But if we just put that aside, okay, as for a future upcoming video, we'll split it into two so it's not too messy. We'll, I guess, round up and debunk Oakley, Utah, and then move on to Oakley, Idaho. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Because Idaho, Oakley is supposedly where Don's at. So yeah, okay. So like, what do I do right now? Well, first of all, supposedly Misty has been very naughty or something. YouTube doesn't approve of her for some reason. I don't know why, like maybe certain comments, but come on, like what about my comments? What about what other people have said? You know, there's several people that say much like more dodgy stuff, or there's people that say much more negative things, like way out there and stuff. And it's like, well, why do they not get punished, but why does Misty get punished? Misty doesn't deserve to get punished unless it's by me. So scrap that. But you get the idea, like what are YouTube doing? I mean, it's one of those things where YouTube has unsubbed people that watch these videos or automatically turned off notifications. I'm not going to know, obviously, because I'm not notified who unsubs or who turns off notifications, so I can't remind people. I can't do everything. Obviously, I can't like babysit, you know, very busy. But best way to word it, dodgy things happen on YouTube. YouTube plays up at times. That's all that can be said, okay? So, briefly, Cleo, I think you need a brief whip. Yeah. Who's doing it this time? Is it Teddy? No, Maria. Is it some kind of daddy bear? What's a daddy bear? Is that from Build-A-Bear? Maybe. It's been built different to everybody else. Oh, daddy. Okay. Misty, are you ready? Yeah. Come on. Gotta do better than that. Come on. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Come on. Bit more. Oh, you want it slow now. Overhand. Right. You're in position. You felt that. You felt it ricocheting off your skin. Yeah. You feel the leather as it almost causes friction, a friction burn against your skin. You feel the burning sensation. Do you feel it deep inside too? Yeah, Misty? Yeah, is that good enough? Misty, why are you getting so wet? Misty, no, don't knock over the glass of water. Oh no, we've got to clean up on aisle number 1. Indiana? Indy. Where's little Indy at? Indy, can you pass a towel, please? Maria? Yes, Maria. Can you help? Thank you. Right. The spillage has been cleared up. That's fine. It's okay. One more. Whoa. Maria, you want a sneak attack? Oh, unexpected. Now, very briefly, I'll do it to myself. Why? Because, you know, Well, no, actually, I don't think I deserve one. I don't deserve a whip. No. Because this is the thing. When it comes to language, as I said, my previous video had a question mark next to it. Don's new location revealed? Question mark. Uncertainty language. I'm not saying it's definitely yes. I'm not saying it's definitely no. So, as I said, language, if you word it correctly, you prevent disasters from occurring. And I think that's what we've done, right? So, okay, I'll do a very quick whip, okay? Ooh, that was a bit vicious there. It does sting, yes, I'll admit. Now that's a positive, that, because if I feel it and it does sting a bit, it means I'm not as fat. Because, you know, if you're really fat and you got punched in the stomach by a boxer and you don't react, it's because there's so much layers of fat that the punch is absorbed like an airbag. So it's a positive that I did feel it. That's good. Oh yeah, come on, give it more. Give it me more, man. Please. Now, it's time. We're going for the holy whip. Everybody, raise your hands in the air, grab any water possible, okay? And here comes the holy whip. Hallelujah. I am now free and also in pain. Thank you. Oh yeah, I probably should say thank you for watching as well. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. For now, good night and goodbye.